Most men think they know what female attraction looks like. They imagine the movie scene, an intense stare, a clear compliment, maybe a bold invitation. They wait for the obvious signal. But here's the eye-opener, the fundamental truth that separates men who succeed with women from those who don't. Female attraction is rarely straightforward. It's not a billboard, it's a whisper. It's a puzzle hidden behind what often looks like mixed signals. If you're only looking for the big neon sign flirtation, you're missing 90% of the game. The actual indicators are subtle shifts in her behavior, micro reactions that betray her true feelings, often before she even consciously processes them. This video is about giving you the keys to read those shifts. Why men miss the signals. The fundamental misconception. Why do most men fail this test of perception? Two main reasons. First, they confuse friendliness with attraction. A woman can be kind, engaging, and social without being interested. She might laugh at your joke because it's genuinely funny, or ask you about your weekend out of basic conversational courtesy. Too many men take these basic signs of social warmth as a green light for escalation, which is why they get shut down abruptly. This is a fundamental miscalculation based on low self-awareness. Second, and more critical, they miss the subtlety because they're expecting the obvious. They're projecting the male mode of attraction, direct, linear, pursuit-oriented, onto the female mode, indirect, cyclical, attention testing. Think about it from her perspective. Why would a woman make her attraction too obvious? In a dating context, being overtly available or signaling intense interest too early can be perceived negatively. Women are socially wired to avoid looking easy or overly vulnerable. They prefer to maintain composure and emotional control, especially around a man who genuinely excites them. She is assessing the risk of rejection, the risk of her reputation, and the risk of giving her emotional power away. So instead of handing you the answer, she presents a test of your awareness, your perception, and your emotional intelligence. She wants to see if you can sense her interest naturally, which is a sign of a high-value man who is attuned to his environment and not dependent on overt validation. If you can't read the subtle cues, you're signaling low awareness, and she'll likely lose that initial spark of curiosity and move on. Welcome to Date Signals. Our purpose is simple: to break down female psychology in a way that's honest, simple, and eye-opening. We cut through the fluff and the misconceptions so you can stop guessing, truly understand women, and respond to their subtle signals effectively, leading to better results and deeper connections. Let's dive into the 7 subtle signs most men overlook. Pay attention, because recognizing even one of these can completely change how you approach attraction. 7 subtle signals, decoding her behavior. 1. She gets nervous but tries to hide it. This is the most potent, yet often confused sign. It's frequently misinterpreted as rejection or disinterest. The reality is that when a woman is attracted to you, you become a source of emotional tension and chemical excitement. The presence of an attractive man triggers a subtle internal rush, a cocktail of adrenaline and other neurochemicals, and she cannot completely suppress this response. The internal flush, this internal rush manifests externally in tiny, involuntary ways. Vocal changes. Her voice might experience a slight pitch change, perhaps becoming higher, or she might have a moment where her words stumble or her articulation becomes momentarily unclear. This happens when the cognitive load of attraction overwhelms the simple task of speaking. Fidgeting and object play. She might fidget with her clothes, her hair, or a nearby object, a pen, a glass, a piece of jewelry. This is displacement activity, a physical outlet for pent-up energy. A common signal is playing with a necklace or running her hands across her collarbone. Nervous laughter. You might notice she laughs a little too hard at a joke that wasn't particularly funny, or she giggles at inappropriate times. This isn't because you're a comedic genius, it's her body relieving the nervous energy that her attraction has triggered. Why she hides it, the psychological barrier. The key is that she tries to hide it. When you catch her eye, She might immediately and abruptly look away or quickly try to regain a neutral, composed, sometimes even bored expression. Why? She's fiercely fighting the loss of emotional control that attraction triggers. She wants to maintain her sophisticated facade and avoid the vulnerability of exposure. Your interpretation: this is a flush of attraction, not a sign of dislike. If she was genuinely disinterested or uncomfortable, she would be perfectly calm and focused on a neutral activity or simply leave. Nervousness equals investment and internal struggle. Do not point it out. Do not mock it. Simply keep the conversation flowing smoothly to ease her tension while subtly acknowledging the positive signal. Second, her energy suddenly shifts around you. You need a baseline for comparison. Observe her neutral energy, how she is with her friends, her colleagues, or the waiter. Then, compare that to her energy when she's interacting specifically with you. Around a man she's attracted to, her entire vibe will shift. Sharpened focus. Her posture will become subtly sharper. She might gently lean in when you speak, minimizing the distance between you two. Her attention span narrows like a laser beam, focusing exclusively on your words. She is actively blocking out external noise when you are speaking. Increased responsiveness. You'll notice faster replies, more detailed responses, and a general elevation in her conversational energy directed at you. The feminine shift. She might become more feminine in her expressions, softer tone, more open body language, more frequent and genuine smiling. She may exhibit playful, slightly exaggerated gestures, signaling comfort and interest. The paradoxical shift. Here's where men get lost. Sometimes a sudden, powerful internal rush of attraction causes her to pull back slightly. She might appear quieter, more reserved, or even momentarily stiff. This is not rejection. This is withdrawal to control her emotions and regain composure because the attraction hit her harder than she expected. She is resetting her emotional equilibrium. How to differentiate. Withdrawal from disinterest. The difference lies in the focus. If she is disinterested, her focus will be everywhere but you. If she is withdrawing due to attraction, her focus remains locked onto you, even if her posture is slightly closed or her words are brief. Compare. Does she treat the generic guy next to you like that? If her energy is noticeably different, more focused, more guarded, or more engaged around you than anyone else in the room, that's a signal. Third, she starts competing for your attention. This sign is an often unconscious drive born from a primal need for validation and to feel noticed by the man she finds attractive. She seeks to stand out from the noise and differentiate herself in your eyes. The manifestations. She doesn't overtly scream for attention. She maneuvers herself into the spotlight of your perception. Vocal maneuvering, talking slightly louder, or raising her voice's projection when you're nearby or in the same group. Conversational insertion. She joins a conversation you're having with someone else, or a playful but strategic interruption of your story. She is creating opportunities to be observed by you, forcing you to acknowledge her presence. Subtle alignment and rivalry. She might subtly align her opinions with yours, or conversely, engage in a light, playful rivalry or debate. Both are energy investments, forcing you to focus your intellectual and emotional energy on her. The psychological driver. She is investing time and energy because she needs to know you register her. Her internal narrative is, "He needs to see me." The strategy. When she's competing for your attention, the absolute worst thing you can do is instantly reward it with over-the-top praise, immediate commitment, or chasing her efforts. That validates the behavior too easily. Instead, remain calm and unbothered. Give her a genuine, subtle smile, but immediately pivot back to the general conversation or topic. Let her see that your attention is valuable, and that while you acknowledge her presence, you are not desperate for her participation. Your slightly reserved, unpressured reaction will increase her curiosity and her internal need to earn your focused attention, effectively escalating her investment. 4. She acts disinterested, but keeps watching you. This is perhaps the ultimate paradox in female signaling, and the place where most men lose their way and retreat, assuming definitive rejection. The indifference facade. She gives you short, almost monotone replies, acts cold, or seems completely preoccupied with her phone or other people. She seems like she couldn't care less if you were talking to her or a wall. Yet, despite her verbal coldness, she remains within your orbit. She doesn't leave the room, she positions herself in an adjacent space. The psychological explanation: self-protection and testing. This is attraction mixed with extreme self-protection. She is highly attracted but terrified of looking vulnerable or exposed, so she uses coldness as a psychological shield. She's also executing a test of perception and patience. Can you handle her indifference? Are you going to get insecure, aggressive, or needy when she pulls away? The betrayal of the eyes. The key is that her eyes betray her disinterest. When she thinks you're not looking, her gaze will constantly flick back to you. She is monitoring your movements, listening to your stories, and observing your interactions with other women, a key indicator of subtle jealousy. You are her point of focus, even when she pretends you are invisible. The masterful counter: do not chase her. Do not question her apparent coldness. Do not ask, "Is everything okay?" Stay consistent. Maintain your confident emotional state and engage naturally with the people and environment around you. Your continued composure in the face of her indifference is the most attractive thing you can do. It tells her, your energy doesn't control mine. Continue to treat her with the same casual, friendly confidence you used before she went cold. Let her indifference be her problem, not yours. Fifth, pay attention to her body language. It says what her words don't. The mouth can lie, but the body rarely does. Even when a woman tries to intentionally hide her attraction, maybe she crosses her arms or puts on a neutral face, the details leak out in nonverbal cues that she is too focused on controlling her words to notice. Positional cues, line of sight. She will frequently and subtly position herself in your line of sight or within your immediate conversational radius. She is optimizing her ability to listen to and observe you. The foot anchor. If she is sitting or standing, she might cross her legs, and the top knee or her feet will point directly toward you, even if her torso and head are angled away in an attempt to look neutral. This is a primal body alignment with the object of her focus, an unconscious navigational tool. Proximity. Does she consistently end up standing or sitting closer to you than is socially necessary? Attraction creates a physical, gravitational pull, often referred to as closing the gap. Self-grooming and preening. Look for preening behaviors, the small, quick adjustments to her appearance that are done for your benefit. Fixing her hair, often a deliberate sweep that exposes her neck, adjusting her clothing, smoothing out wrinkles, or subtly applying lip gloss. These are unconscious drives to look her best for the attractive man in her presence. Actionable advice. Don't try to read a single movement. That leads to paranoia. Read the patterns. If you see multiple nonverbal cues, feet pointing, leaning in, frequent glances, preening, over the course of an interaction, trust the pattern. That pattern is a stronger indicator of her true feelings than anything she says. Your job is simply to notice it and stay relaxed, not to act on it immediately. Sixth, she tests you to see if you'll stay confident. This is arguably the most complex and critical of the subtle signs. The test is not malicious, it's an unconscious biological screening mechanism. She needs to know if you possess the emotional resilience and strength to handle her. If you can't handle her at her challenging worst, you certainly can't lead or protect her. She is assessing if you will become weak, defensive, or easily shaken. Common forms of the test. Emotional challenge. Teasing or challenging your opinion or a personal statement with a skeptical look or sarcastic remark. The validation withholding. Acting unimpressed by something you mention that she knows you're proud of. Availability manipulation. Delayed replies to texts or calls, even though she was just on social media. She is testing your patience and neediness. The jealousy test. Flirting with another man, briefly while you are watching, making sure you can see her. The test purpose. These tests measure your emotional strength and internal validation. Does a little challenge make you defensive and argumentative? Does a delayed text make you send a frantic double text? Does seeing her flirt make you insecure and prompt you to seek reassurance? The winning play, the non-reaction. The answer is always the same. Stay composed. Do not get defensive. Do not chase reassurance, and do not let her see that her energy has shaken yours. If she teases you, tease her back playfully and confidently, or simply move on to the next topic without acknowledging the test. Pass the test by showing her you have unshakable internal validation and that her opinion, while valued, doesn't define your self-worth. Your composed, unpressured reaction is the ultimate demonstration of high self-control and makes you exponentially more attractive. 7. She treats you differently than other men. This is the easiest to spot indicator once you shift your focus from what she is doing to how she is doing it. Compare her tone and focus with you to how she interacts with the generic male population, the other friends, acquaintances, and strangers in her life. Around a man she's attracted to, her behavior becomes noticeably more controlled and intentional. Deep memory. Recall. She remembers small, specific details about your life, a hobby you mentioned offhand, or a past conversation that others have clearly forgotten. This shows focused cognitive investment. Genuine focused curiosity. She asks about your day or opinion with a genuine focused curiosity, not just polite conversation filler. Her head is tilted, her eyes are locked on yours, and her nonverbal behavior screams, "I am listening to you specifically." Elevated humor and accessibility. She laughs more easily at your jokes, and her smiles are warmer, less generic, and more frequent. She finds little, often contrived, excuses to talk to you or be in your proximity. The ultimate indicator. She is expending a noticeable, elevated amount of time and mental energy into the interaction with you. Her mental switch is turned on. This investment signals high interest and is not something she reserves for casual acquaintances. Actionable advice. Use this signal as information, not as immediate validation. Your job is to stay grounded and reciprocate the interest with equal, confident attention, allowing the emotional tension to build naturally without becoming desperate for more. Here's the summary of everything we've covered. Attraction is a dance fueled by emotional tension and how you, the man, handle that tension. The ultimate secret is this. Women do not want to teach men these signals. They prefer a man who senses them naturally, because that ability displays high emotional intelligence, awareness of his surroundings, and an internal confidence that doesn't rely on being spoon-fed signals. Your task is not to be a frantic detective, desperately searching for confirmation that she likes you. Your task is to watch, stay calm, and trust her behavior over her words. Her energy, her body, and her subtle acts of intentionality will always tell the truth. Stay grounded, maintain your frame, and let the attraction unfold on its own terms. Attraction isn't about chasing her reaction. It's about understanding her reaction and letting your confident composure be the thing that keeps her coming back for more. I want to hear your experiences. Which of these 7 signs have you noticed most often in a woman you were interested in? Share your stories and observations in the comments below, and I'll be personally replying to the best, most insightful ones. If you found this masterclass in subtle female psychology eye-opening, hit the like button and subscribe to Date Signals for more honest breakdowns that will change how you approach women.